close. Couldn't get my microphone going. God dang it. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Hi, how are you? It's Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? No, wait. What the hell's today? Tuesday? Does that sound right? I don't know. Must be Tuesday. Anyway, yeah, because yesterday was Manic Monday, so today's Tuesday, right? I don't fucking know. I've been doing so many things lately. My schedule's so full with so as I told you maybe a couple of days ago, I've been acquiring furniture and been doing a lot of furniture refinishing in between streams, in between doing two other
Good morning,
jobs.
ladies and gentlemen. Welcome
Why
to the
the
after
hell
party.
is the after party?
How's that for an opening? Good morning, guys.
What?
Welcome to the after party.
No.
How's everybody?
No. What the hell did that happen? That was okay. Good God, what the hell's going on here? How did that tab even get open? Close that tab. Anyway, no, he's not here. Monkey's not here. I'm here. Anyway, so I don't know. I'm so busy and I'm doing so many things that sometimes I lose track of the days. But yes, happy Tuesday. And it's I don't have a nickname for Tuesdays. I was going to do TikTok Tuesdays, but I'm not quite prepared to do that yet. But although we will probably watch some TikTok videos in the future on this channel because there's oh my God, there's a whole bunch of shit out there that you just go, what? Anyway, so let's get the show started. I'm just going to play the intro and see if I can get my brain back in track. So I'll see you in a minute. Play the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawgKnight. Okay, how about we stop the music? Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as, now I'm here. Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet, and welcome back to the PDawgKnight channel. It is Tuesday, the 28th of September, 2021, and I am so happy that you are here. So, a whole lot of stuff going on in the world, but something kind of popped into my brain the other day because I was watching a bunch of Democrats on Twitter. Well, I'll even show you the tweet that got me to this particular thought that I've come up with, that I'm wondering why the media hasn't come up with this yet. Okay, I haven't quite figured it out. Well, I know the real reason why, but think about this for a moment as we ponder a tweet by Mr. Cenk Uygur, okay? Because everyone loves Cenk Uygur, right? And then I'll say good morning to everybody in a minute. But this is the tweet that got me to thinking about this. This is a tweet. Oh, there you go. Let me get it on the screen. I'm sorry. Before I have to rearrange this a second. There we go. This tweet by Cenk Uygur, because Cenk's an idiot anyway, who says, anyone in media who says the enormous amount of money that corporate donors are funneling Kristen Sinema right now isn't a legalized bribe is not an actual reporter. This is corruption defined. If mainstream media is pretending it isn't, you really have to wonder why. Now, it's not so much that Cenk and his bullshit, this is legalized bribe, because all politicians fundraise and get donors and go to fundraise and blah, blah, blah. Because what they're mad about is the other day, let's see if I can find this article too. I have it already up. Where's that archive article that I put up here? Here it is. This article here, Sinema resists budget bill. She's set to raise money from business groups that oppose it. Okay, now Kristen Sinema, the senator from the great state of Arizona, I believe, I don't know if she necessarily directly replaced John McCain, but she's senator from Arizona. John McCain's no longer a senator from Arizona because John McCain is, worm food. But anyway, I got to thinking about this because they're really mad at her right now because she will not budge on the filibuster thing, right? She won't budge on that. And she's not very happy about this budget bill because, she thinks it sucks. And that's okay. She can do that. But she's a Democrat. She's supposed to, the Democrats and all the people who like Democrats think she should just go along with what the Democrats are doing, right? And that's because she's a Democrat. And she should vote with Democrats because Democrats vote with Democrats and they're supposed to be Democrats. And she's a Democrat and they're supposed to vote with Democrats. Right? Democrat. And so they're mad at her. So Shank had this bullshit tweet about anyone in the media says an enormous amount of money. All these... Look, and even this guy, No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen. Who's Brian Tyler Cohen? He's, he's just a podcast covering top stories and interviews the biggest names in politics, hosted by blah, 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 60,000 followers. Breaking, Kristen Sinema is holding a fundraiser at an oh, wait a minute. Let me give this proper gravitas. Hang on. I almost forgot to do this too. Hang on. Because I'm not prepared because I was painting this morning. I'm finishing a piece of furniture that I am really proud of that I'm going to sell. And I was putting another top coat of polyurethane on it. Anyway, so listen to this tweet by this guy named, what's his name? Brian Tyler Cohen. Breaking. Kristen Sinema is holding a fundraiser at an undisclosed location. Tomorrow, with 5 corporate lobbying PACs who oppose Democrats' Build Back Better Act. The bill would cut taxes for the middle class and raise taxes on the ultra wealthy and corporations. First of all, that's crock shit. Whatever they do with this thing, let's see. You raise lots of taxes on ultra wealthy corporations. What happens to that? How do they pay for the additional tax burden? Oh, you pay more for all your shit. Anyway, so everyone's not happy with Kyrsten Sinema. And I got to thinking yesterday, I said to myself, self, does anyone in the Democrat Party think of Kyrsten Sinema the same way Republicans felt about John McCain? I was thinking to myself, oh my gosh, you know what? Because John McCain used to drive me crazy, right? John McCain, Maverick, right? They called him the Maverick. The television stations and national news people and all the pundits, they love to call him the Maverick because he just always ruined the Republicans party, right? Republicans want to do something, John McCain would fuck it up. Like the Obamacare bullshit, right? And they gave him a nickname, Maverick, because he just didn't always follow the party line. He did what he thought was right, blah, 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 blah. Now, Kyrsten Sinema, also from the great state of Arizona, is a Democrat. She caucuses with the Democrats. She's a Democrat in her party name on her behind her name. There's a big old D in parentheses, right? And yet, is anyone in the media, because she's not going along with what the Democrats want on everything that they want. She votes mostly with them, but you know what? On some of this stuff, she's like, nah, I got my own way, right? You can go your own way. Go your own way. Kyrsten Sinema goes her own way on some things, right? Is anybody in the media giving her this, because, oh, by the way, when the media called John McCain a maverick, in fact, let's do a poll of this. Let's do a quick poll. When the media, and I'll just say the media in general, called John McCain quote, maverick, was it a term of endearment or a term of scorn? That I'm going to give you that. And okay, there's your question for the day. For the first to start out with, this is our first poll question of the day. When the media called John McCain Maverick, where's my poll? Why is it there? It is. Was it a term of endearment or a term of scorn? Now I'm pretty sure the media just loved John McCain because he always fucked up the shit that Republicans wanted to do, right? He was that guy. Well, guess what? The current senator from Arizona is also seems to be a thorn in the side for Democrats, and she's from Arizona. There must be something in the Arizona water, just to be a contrarian for your own party. But do you think, is anyone in the media calling Kirsten Sinema Maverick? Are they endearing themselves to Kirsten Sinema? I'm looking at a lot of media folks on here being pissed off. Oh, yes, here's one. Voters in Arizona overwhelmingly support President Biden's infrastructure plan. Kirsten Sinema is meeting with anti-climate lobbyists who oppose climate action. We need Arizonans to flood her voicemail with phone calls. We are in a climate emergency. Oh my God, are we going to have to stay home again? Because I'm telling you, this whole climate emergency bullshit. I'm sorry, the stupid 19 bullshit that we're going through now. Again, I'm telling you, it's a dress rehearsal for climate lockdowns. I got to tell you. Anyway, so I was thinking about, now there's a big old, and here's the article in the New York Times yesterday. As Sinema resists budget bills, she is set to raise money from business groups that oppose it. Senator Kirsten Sinema of Arizona, the inscrutable. What the fuck's inscrutable mean? I'm like, I gotta look that up. I don't even know what that does that sound? Hang on, inscrutable. Let's go to DuckDuckGo. Inscrutable, because that doesn't even sound like a real word. Inscrutable. Oh, inscrutable means, here, let me put it on the screen here. Wikipedia snippet would normally be looking this up for me, but anyway, inscrutable, difficult to understand or interpret, impenetrable. Isn't she, she's actually, isn't she, she's like the first openly bi member of either the Senate or House of Representatives, I don't know, anyway. Unsearchable, incapable of being searched into and understood by inquiry or study, impossible or difficult to be explained or accounted for satisfactorily, obscure, incomprehensible, difficult or impossible to count. Okay, so apparently she's inscrutable. Oh, Lord. Anyway, she's inscrutable. The inscrutable Democrat who may hold the key to passing your party's ambitious social policy and climate bill, fuck you, is scheduled to have a fundraiser on Tuesday with 5 business lobbying groups, many of which fiercely oppose the bill. Oh, many of which? Now, this is different because they said all of them. All of them, right? Under Sinema's political logo, the influential National Association of Wholesalers, Distributors, and the Grocers PAC, along with lobbyists for roofers and electrical contractors and a small business group called the S Corp Political Action Committee, have invited association members to an undisclosed location. On Tuesday afternoon to write checks for between $1,000 and $5,800 payable to Sinema for Arizona. Well, I've never heard of a politician doing fundraisers before. Oh my, it's a hit piece. This is a freaking hit piece on her. So is she the first politician to do that? Let's see. Who else is saying? People should protest outside this function. Senator Sinema needs consequences. Toronto mom, you're from Ontario. Shut the fuck up, Toronto mom. Fuck you. You're not even an American. Now that's not nice. My Canadian followers. I love my Canadian followers, but you know what? Why are you? This woman interfered in our politics. Get the hell out of here. But man, they are so mad. They are so mad that she will not obey. George Takei. Oh, Sulu. Overheard. Has anyone checked Senator Kyrsten Sinema's pocket for drug money? Oh, you mean like the pharmaceutical companies like Nancy Pelosi? Oh my God. They're all in on her. And also Manchin. You know who Manchin is. History. Oh, Amy Susskind. History will not be kind to Kyrsten Sinema. They hate her. They hate her because why? Why do they hate her? Because she's a maverick. Anyway, thank you, Baby Vazo, for the first sponsorship of the day. I appreciate you very much. Who says Arizona is Republican. She may be afraid of local voters. Well, or afraid of local voters, or understanding what her constituency is, you know? Because some of this stuff, look, I know that maybe her and Manchin are actually looking ahead, especially on this filibuster thing. Imagine, okay, right now you have one of the most unpopular presidents in a long time, even less popular than President Trump was. That's scary. And that's media driven. But anyway, now she and Joe Manchin probably are thinking ahead going, on this filibuster thing, we passed this thing. And then the Republicans come into power, and then they can use that the same way we want to use it, just railroad everybody into some bullshit. And, the Senate actually is made to slow things down. And that's why you have that kind of sometimes you have that extra little bit of check in there. And, it's been used for years, especially by Democrats. So why would they want to get rid of one of their favorite tools when the Republicans are in power? And I think Manchin and Sinema can see that. And some of these Democrats just like, oh no, we need to get rid of Sinema. We're just going to roll roughshod all over them because everything we do is so popular and perfect and pristine that we should just have all our policies, which are already fucking things up. And so anyway, okay, this rant's over, but oh, and these people are just attacking her, right? They do have her. Oh, this is interesting. I've never seen this before. Here's a picture of. Oh wait, let me put full screen in this. So this is what the pictures on here. She has a ring that says "fuck off," and then they have another picture of her, Senator or Senate whore. Oh my God, they are ripping on her because of her thigh-high boots. But she has an interesting fashion sense. Whatever, no better. But boy, this must be some leftists because no right-wing person would ever get away with calling a woman a whore, especially a United States senator. And then this one's another meme. Thanks, Arizona. We really needed your trailer trash in the U.S. Senate. Oh my God, is she a U.S. senator or a nightclub stripper? Arizona used to have John McCain in the Senate. Oh, you can't see any of this. I forgot to hit the button. Okay, let's go back. Okay, let's go to here's her ring that says "fuck off" because she's edgy. She's an edgy American of edgy descent. Anyway, and then here's the senator or Senate whore. Really? I guess when you're on the left, you can say whatever the fuck you want, right? And then we got this one right here. Yes, they call her trailer trash. Is she a U.S. senator nightclub stripper? These are Democrats ripping on her. Hi, I'm Kyrsten Sinema. I'm only here for the money. Really? Maybe. Now, look, I beg to differ. I think that Kyrsten Sinema has principles that they just don't understand because, why would Democrats understand principles? Oh, and they are going all in. A cartoonish level of corruption. Right-wing Democratic Senator Kristen Sinema blasted for fundraising for business groups and lobbyists opposed to Biden's Democratic agenda. Oh no, she is verdict. Here, let's check this poll real quick. Here's the end of this poll. Some of you say that it's not a term of endearment that the media called John McCain Maverick. Really? I personally think it was. I think they just love the fact that he would, screw over Republicans every once in a while. They are so mad at her though, like as if politicians never ever do that stuff. So let's put it. Do you? Okay, here's my second question, poll question now. Let's see. Let's see, what's a good question for this? Do you think Democrats understand Republicans' frustrations with John McCain now? Do you understand them now, Democrats? I'm not even gonna put that poll up. Anyway, thanks for participating in the poll. All right, let's back up a little bit. Let's say good morning to everyone in the chat. Again, thank you again, Baby Vaso, for the deuce and super chat, and you are the first donor of the day. If you'd like to sponsor the show, you can do that through YouTube super chats and or Streamlabs, which is, if you don't want to give 30% to Susan, use the Streamlabs. If you find it easier to use super chats, that's fine. I'm whatever. I appreciate anyone who does anything. And then there's other options down below. But you know what you can do for me? If you follow me on social media, which anywhere that you look, just find at PDawgKnight, because I'm on most social media. Do me a favor and retweet or repost whatever I posted today as a notification for the show. I'm doing an experiment to see if people are actually even seeing it and if people would actually repost it, which some of you do on a regular and some of you may not see it. But if you are on there, please do that. And then also, or you can share the stream using the little share arrow down here. And then if you're watching a replay, put a comment in the comment section so I know you dropped by. Thank you very much. But cash is always good too. Anyway, let's say good morning to everyone in the chat, because I'm way behind. There's a whole bunch of you here. So I'm going to go through and say hi. First in the chat today was our friend Somnambule Nation, who gets the bell. Thank you for being Johnny on the spot, so to speak. Also, good morning, Mike Savage, Blarg, Jesse Leon's in the house. Word to Big Bird. Also, good morning, Select a Boy.
Yeah, boy.
And good morning, Rotten Corpse, Jonathan Peterson, Tyler F, Baby Vaso, who's the first donor of the day, Avocados Diabli, the Devil's Advocate. Also, good morning, Maddie. How you doing? And Ronan probably back there in the background. Also, good morning, Nobody Not Me, People's Front of Canada. Let's see. Sean King's in the house. Every time I see that, Talica Max is here. Although this is not the real this is the other Sean King. I should change it just to the other Sean King. Good morning, Attack Alpaca. Good morning, Aaron Meredith. Good morning to Dom O'Leary, Don Julio, Gulf City Biker Trash Man's in the house. Good morning. Also, Jonas Patterson here. Hello. Good morning also to, am I getting the close? Data Wastelands in the house. Good morning. Also, I think I said Jonas Patterson. Yes, I did. And Lord Stanhope's here. Hello, hello, hello. Texas AG's in the house. 007. I really got to get my... I got to update my sound effects. K Show's in the house. Good morning. And I think that's almost everybody that's I seen in the chat so far. Oh, Wandering Lisa. Whoa, where have you been? Nice to have you back. Good to see you there. And also Asian Research Directorate's in the house. All right, there we go. So, let's just take care of this. Good. Thank you, Baby Vaso, with another super chat saying, as Michael, okay, I was thinking which Michael J. As Michael Jackson once said, they don't really care about us. No, I don't think they do. Yeah, I know. I think I know what you mean there. All right, let's Let's get into some news. First on this docket today, speaking of polls, apparently Joe Biden's approval rating is tanking to a record low. Half strongly disapprove, not just disapprove. Half of people in this poll strongly disapprove of Joseph Rahim Biden. President Joe Biden's approval ratings are continuing to suffer, cratering. They need editors. Cratering to a record low as half of likely voters. This is likely voters too. This is not just random, people in the street. Half of likely voters strongly disapprove of his job performance, Rasmussen's presidential tracking poll released Monday revealed. Now, I don't know why they're doing presidential tracking polls. Well, maybe, anyway, but never mind. I said it. Pretend I didn't even ask that question. The survey shows Biden's approval tanking to 40%. Of those, 21% strongly disapprove, 21% strongly approve? Ugh, well, there's no sense of taste. Anyway, this marks the first time it has fallen to 40% in the survey, although Biden has come close, reaching 42% a handful of times throughout September. Overall, 58% disapprove of Biden's job performance, and of those, 50% strongly disapprove. This appears to mark the highest disapproval of his presidency in this particular poll. Biden's approval has continued to take a tumble since the botched withdrawal from Afghanistan at the end of August, and his administration left hundreds of Americans behind. There's still about 100 genuine Americanos still left in Afghanistan. Then weeks later, Biden delivered a divisive speech on the Chinese lung aids, and then in which he essentially pitted the stabbed against the unstabbed. And then he did that patience wearing thin bullshit. And then here, this bullshit. Okay, so if you haven't heard the spin, and I'm not really going to talk about it a lot today, but now Biden is facing political controversy over his $3.5 trillion with a T dollar spending agenda, which he claims cost $0. So, and that's the new talking point. There's Democrats all over the place out here saying that this $3.5 trillion spending bump is going to cost $0. Now, I haven't quite figured out now here's the lie they're telling. They're saying that it's paid for with increases in taxes on the rich, but they're supposedly going to be lowering taxes for the middle class, and nobody who makes over $400,000 will see a tax increase. Now, if you believe that, then I'm going to go down to Miami and I'm going to put a for sale sign on the Brooklyn Bridge in Miami, because that's where we've moved it, and I'm going to sell it to you for cheap, and you can take it between, if you want to move it, you can move it to between two of the keys down there somewhere, and holy shit. I want $1 trillion loan that costs $0. Really? Could you imagine? Oh, test. What? You changed your Abby in the middle of the show. How'd you do that? Very nice. I don't know what that is. Oh, that is awesome. Anyway, check out Texas AG's new Abby. Anyway, so his approval rating is tanking. No surprise. Also, odds for a Republican takeover the Senate keep getting better. This is Matt Margolis at PJ Media. Will Biden's crashing approval ratings hurt Democrats' chances of holding on to the Senate? It certainly looks that way right now. A poll from the Democratic Leading Public Policy Polling, also known as PPP, last month had Democrat incumbent Raphael Warnock up by a mere 2 points in a matchup against Trump-backed Herschel Walker. Now, I still chuckle the idea of having Herschel Walker in the United States Senate, and look, I like Herschel Walker. He's a good man, and but I still, I don't know that. I mean, and look, he's popular. Is there a more popular of all time athlete in Georgia history? And he's backed by Trump. Trump's very popular in Georgia. It's interesting. Let's just say it's interesting. It's very interesting. And but good for Herschel Walker. Now, so a poll had Democrat incumbent Raphael Warnock up by a mere 2 points in a matchup against Trump-backed Herschel Walker. But a new CD Media poll shows Walker, the frontrunner for the Republican nomination for the U.S. Senate, is currently leading Warnock by 5 points. Now, no, Warnock's not a great candidate either. Johnny Hellcat, hello, how you doing? Anyway, a more fired up Republican base has already coalesced behind Herschel Walker, and the crossover vote favors him as well. Big Data Poll director Rich Barris said, but the size and scope of Walker's advantage over Raphael Warnock is blinding when drilling down on area and region. Barris, by the way, if you don't follow the People's Pundit, Rich Barris, he's a professional pollster and brilliant. You need to follow him on Twitter and or YouTube, whichever. It's called the People's Pundit. Anyway, Barris notes that Walker is dominating among all the key regional demographics. Nearly 2/3 of white voters, 65%, chose Walker, as did slightly more than 1 in 10 black voters, 10%. White voters represent slightly more than 6 in 10 voters in the Georgia electorate, while non-white voters combined typically represent under 4 in 10, reports CD Media. Warnock leads among urban voters 56.2% to 29.2%, while Walker dominates among rural voters 62% to 22.3%. The two candidates are statistically tied in the suburbs at 44%. The key to the election year, however, will most likely come down to turnout. Both Republican candidates for the U.S. Senate in Georgia lost on January 5th because they failed to generate enough turnout among the base in central and south coastal Georgia regions. Barris said Democrats didn't win those races. Republicans lost them by not defending the former president. Herschel Walker is not suffering from the same disadvantages Barris insists. The Big Data Poll was recognized by the New York Post last year for having the more accurate polling than many leading media polling outfits. So anyway, I don't think that's the only race that Republicans can gain either. It's interesting that anyway. So the odds for Republican takeover, well, who knows? If they keep messing with Manchin and Sinema, who knows if they might change their status too? Because they're really going after both of them very, very much. So anyway, all right, moving on. Let's see here. Oh, and yesterday we were listening to the F Joe Biden chants. Well, apparently they're starting to notice that they're everywhere. Joe Biden is the worst president we've had since the last worst president we had. Who they say here in this article is Barack Obama, who was the worst president since Jimmy Carter. It has escaped no one's notice. Yes, I think Joe Biden is really on his way to defeating Jimmy Carter in the worst president bracket. COVID lockdowns and mandates, a destructive, inhumane, callow, disgusting bug out of Afghanistan, generational theft level spending, and tyrannical diktats have touched everyone except Hollywood and DC, naturally. Turn that flag upside down. Australia, here we come. Where people have been allowed to congregate, they have made their disgust with Joe Biden well known in the coarsest and unsociable of ways. They've been cheered for it. Nearly everywhere you look, people in large groups and small are chanting, "Fuck Joe Biden. Fuck Joe Biden." It's turning into this generation's The Wave. Remember The Wave? Here it is. That's The Wave. Remember that? Okay. I don't know what the hell that was. Anyway, F Joe Biden is a real phenomenon. Remember, Red Friday? Now, F Joe Biden Saturdays are a thing. It's a hashtag. The best tradition in the land. F Joe Biden chants. So it's real. There is a F Joe Biden Wikipedia page. Oh my God, I didn't even know that one. I didn't read this far down when I got into this article. It has its own Wikipedia page. That's hilarious. And note to self, F Joe Biden for my 6-foot American U.S. polyester flag, vivid color, Oh my gosh. Anyway, you can buy the flags. Oh, there's even jewelry. Yep, I did it. F. Joe Biden, Mr. Thing will be more or less stay the same. Okay, someone made oh no, it's a F. Joe Biden Christmas ornament. Okay, and then of course, even at the Ryder Cup. This is at the Ryder Cup. In addition to hearing the chant at college football games for weeks, it has spread to, wait, what's that I hear at the Ryder Cup? Oh my God. Biden's claim he won't raise taxes is baloney. There is a ridiculous methane tank buried within the legislation. It will increase fuel prices across the board and badly impact the low income. Oh, they're trying to do all this Green New Deal shit in that bill, and that's going to raise everyone's cost of living. It's insanity. The idea that we're not going to raise taxes on $400,000. Everyone's going to be paying more. Everyone's going to be paying more. And they're stupid. They're gonna kill jobs, and it's gonna just screw them. Anyway, the Ryder Cup. Let's do that again. I want to play that again because listen to the lady's reaction when she hears it too. I'm gonna turn this up. Listen to because these people are filming. Here we go. Who started that? Oh my God. Yeah, really. You're right, AD. Slap that, Becky. Singer Luke Bryant good-naturedly scolded his fans when the chant broke out at his concert. Then he played back up. Here's a Luke Bryant concert.
Fuck Joe Biden! Fuck Joe Biden! Fuck Joe Biden! Fuck Joe Biden! Fuck Joe Biden!
Oh, then he helped play along. Apparently he was going to scold them. So that's at a Luke Bryan concert. And then what's this? Where is this? We have no idea what this event was, but it became an F. Joe Biden event. It's a movement. That might just be people waiting. It might just be people waiting at the airport to get checked in. Anyway, and then here's a food court somewhere, and there it was in a food court.
Fuck Joe Biden! Fuck Joe Biden!
Okay, it just happens just about anywhere. Of course, then the Go Big Red, but F. Joe Biden. This is somewhere in Nebraska. So there's always, and then if you want to see, there's more of them on here. There's one here at, oh my gosh. Okay, it becomes a hip hop bit. Get a crowd, add some beats. Here, let's see this one. This is
Fuck Joe Biden! 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 Fuck Joe Biden!
little hip hop beat to it.
Fuck Joe Biden!
And okay, so anyway, this is a whole, there's a whole bunch of them on here. Anyway, wait a minute, what? We've gone from stadium with Stain with F. Joe Biden chants. Oh, a Stained concert over the weekend in Joe Biden's Delaware and Scranton, Pennsylvania hometown that he travels whenever he runs for office. The band led the crowd. Wait a minute. The band led the crowd? Oh, Lord. Okay, so anyway, and what is this lead singer Aaron Lewis wore an impeach Biden hat and donned shirts that read F. Joe Biden. I could shit a better president. Oh my God, what band is this? After the sports stadiums, it was a turn of the concerts. Tens of thousands of people who attended the famous American rock singer and songwriter Aaron Lewis concert cheering F. Joe Biden. Anyway, so it's everywhere. Okay, this is not real, but Even in Iraq, they say F Joe Biden. Okay. Personally, I despise sheepish chanting regardless of what it is. Well, here's the thing. It's silly, and it's, a lot of these too. So they can highlight it because you can hear it from there, but I don't think it's a huge part of the crowd chanting it in some places, but who knows? But anyway, let's move on. All right, enough of that shit. The New York Times has finally decided to correct its erroneous description of people being whipped in on the border areas, black people being whipped like slaves, and they finally corrected it. New York Times issued a correction after claiming that Border Patrol agents were whipping Haitian migrants with horse reins. The original article, which was published Friday, covered President Joe Biden's comments that Border Patrol officers accused of mistreating Haitian migrants would pay for their actions. The images of agents on horseback chasing and in some cases using the reins of their horses to strike. This is what they wrote in the New York Times. This was the quote. Okay. The original, the images. Where is this? I got this on here. The images of agents on horseback chasing and in some cases using the reins of their horses to strike at running migrants. Well, now it says images of Border Patrol agents on horseback waving their reins while pushing migrants back. They finally changed it. The updated version changed the sentence to say images of Border Patrol agents on horseback waving their reins while pushing migrants back into the Rio Grande have prompted a torrent of criticism from Democrats and civil rights groups. In the correction, the New York Times admitted that the original article overstated what was going on at the border. Oh, really? Really, was it? No. And whatever. So they finally corrected it. So, but a lot of people who were talking about it still haven't said that was probably not correct. Moving on, here's 10 biggest Whoppers published by the New York Times, by the way. Have I got this on here? New York Times has been a driving force behind established media's narrative since its inception 170 years ago. So we're going to do a little top 10 of the some of the things that the New York Times has told you in the past, okay? However, the outlets reporting on issues ranging from the pre-World War II Europe to the Trump administration has included false information that has been forced to correct or retract. Here are the top 10 biggest whoppers published by the New York Times. No famine in Stalin's Ukraine. The New York Times, Moscow. Oh, wait, let's stop. We got a little Shaq attack here. Thank you so much, Baby Vaso. By the way, Baby Vaso, now you are
the new Streamlabs
Superstar
sponsor
of the day. Thank you very much for sponsoring via Streamlabs. You are the Superstar sponsor of the day, who says, with a little Shaq attack there, it's nice to see how organic the F. Joe Biden chants are. Not ignorant celebrities coercing fans to denounce Trump. Some fuckers like Depp and Eminem who championed for the left were eventually cannibalized by the left. Cringe. Yes, thank you so much. Very good. Thank you for sponsoring the show. I appreciate it. Also, Lexi's in the house. Lexi Mads, and also Jedi Ghost Bear. Good morning, Richo, my friend from Down Under. And someone else came in. I can't remember. I saw another name that wasn't here earlier. Oh, no, I'm just looking at that avatar, that little 007 Abby. It gets me every time. That's awesome, Tex AG. All right, so anyway, here's some lies, or excuse me, just false information by the New York Times. No famine in Stalin's Ukraine. New York Times Moscow bureau chief Danny Durante was a key player in covering up the Soviet Union Holodomor genocide during his tenure between 1922 and 1936. Durante claimed grain production in Ukraine, the breadbasket of the Soviet Union, allowed the country to fuel its industrial development. Yeah. Remember that? Like the bread tubers say? Or like Bernie Sanders says, I'm sorry, in communist countries, you complain about bread lines. Well, at least they got bread. Yeah, not so much in Ukraine. They pretty much took all the production and took it to the Soviet Union and let the Ukrainians die of starvation. Their coverage of Nazi, you know what? I'm not going to read all these. I'm just giving you the headlines. Their coverage of Nazi Germany was horrendous back before the war. in the decade of the World War II has been criticized for its glowing portrayals of Adolf Hitler and minimization of the regime's atrocities. Journalist Ashley Rinsberg wrote in The Gray Lady Blinked, New York Times Berlin bureau chief Guido Enderis was known for his loudmouth defense of Nazism, and his reporting even prompted a colleague to ask the paper's Jewish publisher Arthur H. Schulzberger whether the New York Times should do something about its Nazi correspondent, according to Tablet magazine. Also, in the 2000s, Saddam Hussein, this is the third one, had WMDs. Well, when the New York Times just telling what Robert Mueller told you. New York Times reporter Judith Miller won a 2001 Pulitzer Prize for a series on Middle Eastern terrorism. Wrote a number of articles as early as 2002 claiming, based on unnamed but highly placed sources, that Iraqi leader Saddam Hussein already had or was acquiring an arsenal of weapons of mass destruction, WMDs, using opposition politician Ahmed Chalabi as one of her sources. Oh, he turned out to be, well, anyway, we know how that turned out. Also, their coverage of the D.C. sniper attacks. Former New York Times reporter Jason Blair's history of fabrication and plagiarism was first discovered in April 2003. His coverage of the coordinated sniper attacks in the Washington, D.C. metro area in October 2002 included false information, unnamed sources, and a lot of plagiarism. And that's why he ended up getting the boot. In an October 30, 2002 article, Blair reported that the dispute between police had impeded the interrogation of D.C. sniper suspect John Muhammad, who he claimed was about to confess, citing unnamed officials. But the claim was quickly denied by all parties involved, including lawyers who Blair falsely claimed had witnessed the investigation. So, I don't know, you can go through these. The New York Times, Trump ordered police to clear Lafayette Park protesters. Well, we know that's false now. What's the other ones here? A random Canadian man was an ISIS executioner. Yeah, that was not a good one. Trump ignored Russian bounties on U.S. soldiers. We know that's false. Brian Sicknick was killed by January 6 rioters. Well, they were the lead on that one. We know that's false. Gabby Giffords' shooting was inspired by Sarah Palin. Yeah, that was when they were trying to do this is the correction. We got important facts wrong, incorrectly linking political incitement and the 2011 shooting of Giffords. No link was ever established. We're sorry about this, and we appreciate that our readers called us on the mistake. We've corrected the editorial. Well, it was too much, too little, too late to ever try again. And then the Wuhan lab link as a fringe theory. Yeah, you can read that article. There's more. There's so many more. Let's move on. Cuomo accuser. By the way, we're going to talk a little bit about Fredo right now. Cuomo accuser rips his defense. No more enlightened today than he was then. So Shelley Ross, who accused CNN anchor Chris Cuomo of sexual harassment in the New York Times op-ed last week, blasted the network anchor again on Friday over his response. I was hoping that in 16 years that he had changed, but he's no more enlightened today than he was then, as demonstrated by his response, Ross told Business Insider. Ross wrote an op-ed for the New York Times on Friday detailing an event in 2005 in which Cuomo, aka Fredo, who had worked under Ross, no pun intended, at ABC News, had groped her during a goodbye celebration for another ABC employee. Ross had recently moved on from being Cuomo's boss at the time. As Shelley acknowledges, our interaction was not sexual in nature. It happened 16 years ago in a public setting when she was a top executive at ABC. I apologized to her then, and I meant it, Cuomo responded to her op-ed. Ross ripped the CNN host, saying that his response showed his lack of personal growth since the incident. I don't acknowledge that there's anything that was our interaction. I was not a participant, she said. I was groped. And so to say that I acknowledge interaction, no, Fredo, that shows a lack of enlightenment. Ross wrote in her op-ed that Cuomo approached her at a party and grabbed the cheek of my buttock in front of her husband, she explained. Quote, At the time, I was an executive producer of an ABC entertainment special, but I was Mr. Cuomo's executive producer at Primetime Live. Just before that, I was at a party with my husband, who sat behind me on an ottoman sipping his Diet Coke as I spoke with work friends. When Mr. Cuomo entered the Upper West Side bar, he walked toward me and greeted me with a strong bear hug while lowering one hand to firmly grab and squeeze the cheek of my buttock. I can do this now that you're no longer my boss, he said to me with a kind of cocky arrogance. No, you can't, I said, pushing him off into the ether into a pit of fire. No, she didn't say it. I'm pushing him off me at the chest while stepping back, revealing my husband, who had seen the entire episode at close range. We quickly left. So, he's whatever. After the incident, Cuomo emailed Ross an apology. Quote, now that I think of it, I am ashamed, the subject line said. The email continued, though my hearty greeting was a function of being glad to see you, Christian Slater got arrested for kind of a similar act, though born of an alleged negative intent, unlike my own. And as a husband, I can empathize with not liking to see my wife patted as such. So pass along my apology to your very good and noble husband. And I apologize to you as well for even putting you in such a position. No pun intended. That next time I'll remember the lesson, no matter how happy I am to see you. What? What? Wait a minute. I will remember the lesson no matter how happy I am to see you. So Fredo, because he was happy to see her, felt that it was appropriate to move his hand from her back as he hugged her down to her ass, because he was happy to see her. Is that, did that, am I the only one who kind of read that way? I'm just, you know what? It's none of my business. Ross wrote that Cuomo's recent action advising his brother, former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, of how to handle the media amid an accusation of sexual misconduct suggests that the CNN anchor's commitment to truth and accountability is lacking. I would say so. Anyway, what a douchebag. Moving on. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, I'm doing good for time too. By the way, let's see. Good and noble. He didn't deck it. Yeah. He'd have had some broken lip vessels. What the hell are you doing, you asshat? Anyway, all right. Did you hear about this? I have some media stories. Obviously, I'm doing media stories today. John Stossel. You know John Stossel? Remember John Stossel? Give me a break guy from, oops, wait a minute. Fix that. And fix this. Used to be of ABC News. Now he is on, what is he? I know he's on Reason TV, part of that thing. Anyway, John Stossel is suing Facebook fact checkers for defamation. Now, this is one of those things that I don't know is gonna go very far. These are really hard lawsuits. He'd have to prove that they knew what they said was untrue, which maybe he can do that. His lawyers are smart. Anyway, conservative libertarian journalist John Stossel is suing Facebook for $2 million is a good start, but only a start. Variety reported late last week that the popular TV and internet personality seeks damages of no less than $2 million for defamation via the company's fact-checking system. The suit filed in the Northern District of California court by Dillon Law Group asks, quote, do Facebook and its vendors defame a user who posts factually accurate content that when they publicly announce that the content failed to fact check and is partly false, and by attributing to the user a false claim that he never made? And then it moves on. The answer the suit says is yes. Stossel and his attorney argue that what Facebook and its fact check vendors are currently serving, or that it's Facebook. Okay, wait a minute, start over. Stossel and his attorneys argue that Facebook and its fact-checking vendors are currently serving as judge, jury, and executioner regarding whether users are on the right or wrong side of a complex scientific debate. The suit involves 2 climate change videos that caught the ire of Facebook fact checkers. Quote, this is from, I don't know what this is from. In one video, government-fueled fires about the 2020 wildfires in California, Facebook and its fact-checking partners falsely attributed to Stossel a claim he never made, and on that basis flagged the content as misleading and missing context. So that would-be viewers would be routed to the false attribution statement. The complaint says that Stossel's video explored a scientific hypothesis that, quote, while climate change undoubtedly contributes to forest fires, it was not the primary cause of the 2020 California fires, end quote. Per the suit, Stossel says he never made the claim that forest fires are caused by poor management, not by climate change, which was in Facebook's fact check. Stossel's suit says Facebook uses the pretext of a fact check to affix disparaging labels to the content or to expressly mischaracterize the content, even when they know the content is untrue. So what they're saying is they attributed something to him that he never said, and they should have known that. I don't know. These suits are so tough. They're really, really tough. I hope he's has some clear evidence that they knew what they were doing was a lie. Furthermore, there is no meaningful avenue to contest these unilateral decisions, and that Facebook refused to correct their speech and intentionally left the false attribution online for anyone to see after. So they notified him. So maybe that's the problem. Once they notified him, and it was clear that he was not, he did not make any such statement. They probably should have taken it down, but they refused to take it down. And remember, Facebook's fact checkers are who's on the left, which I will put that article out there, but we're not going to go through it. But it tells you about a little bit about their fact checkers. Now, the only problem, if there's a way through the courts to change Facebook's bad behavior, it's going to take a judgment with a lot more zeros on the end. Facebook reported $29 billion with a B in profits in 2020, and over $3.3 million each hour. Even if completely successful, Stossel would get back from Facebook only about 40 minutes worth of profits. There are other ways of fighting Facebook, however, and no, getting off Facebook still isn't one of them. To paraphrase an article this person wrote earlier this year, Facebook wasn't able to hurt Stossel because Stossel has a small presence on Facebook. What? Facebook wasn't able to hurt Stossel because Stossel has a small presence of Facebook. It's because 2 billion other people are on Facebook. They control immense amounts of web traffic for no reason other than for untold millions of users. Facebook is the internet, just like AOL was for so many people back in the 90s, but at a scale Steve Case could only dream of. So, and that's okay. So that's why PJ Media has moved some of our most informative, but to the left, most controversial material behind in the VIP paywall. As much as it legitimately pains some of our readers, the VIP section is the only place where we can even discuss certain issues without Facebook being able to tarnish our reputation, as it has Stossel's, or even put us out of business. Yeah, Facebook has way too much power. I'm just saying. And, I hope John Stossel is successful. I know this kinds of suits are almost impossible, though. All right. Now let's move on. Still sticking with kind of some media stories today, which I'm kind of, wait, what the hell happened here? Oh, that's because I'm in the full screen. There we go. Let's move this up. Taxpayer dollars flowed to media company now under FBI investigation. Oh, is this one of those things like Burisma where they spend money and then somebody goes under? Aussie Media took donations from the Ford Foundation, Lorraine Powell Jobs, Charles Koch Institute, the taxpayer-funded Corporation for Public Broadcasting, and several progressive billionaires have partnered with the digital media company now under FBI investigation for attempting to defraud investors. Aussie Media is accused of trying to defraud executives from Goldman Sachs earlier this year. The New York Times reported this week the Corporation for Public Broadcasting in 2018 gave the media company a $500,000 grant to produce a documentary series featuring interviews with liberal celebrities. Aussie lured has lured in other wealthy investors, including Laurene Powell Jobs, the widow of Apple founder Steve Jobs, Mark Lazary, the hedge fund billionaire whose son is running for Senate Wisconsin, is Ozzy's chairman. Lazary organized a $35 million investment round for Ozzy in 2019. I can't remember why. So anyway, this not well. Wait a minute? The Partnership for Public Broadcasting. Oh, so the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, which does get federal dollars, gave this company grants, and now they're saying that this guy is under investigation by the FBI for swindling people. So you can read the rest if you're interested. I can't remember why I pulled that up. Let's go to Tucker. Tucker in the house. Tucker Carlson. So the ADL, Anti-Defamation League, has been demanding that Tucker Carlson be terminated. Well, there's a little bit of a fight back now. Fire Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar. The right fights back after ADL demands Tucker Carlson's termination. Like the ACLU and the Southern Poverty Law Center, the Anti-Defamation League is an organization that has moved hard left and no longer represents its original aims. Ooh, ouch, that can hurt. Anyway, Tucker Carlson recently excoriated the ADL after the organization's CEO, Jonathan Greenblatt, accused him of xenophobia and called for him to be fired from Fox News. And so there's the tweet from Jonathan Greenblatt. Greenblatt, a former Obama administration official, also accused Carlson of pushing a white supremacist tenet in April after the cable news host said, in part, the government shows preference to people who have shown absolute contempt for our customs, our laws, our systems itself, and they are being treated better than American citizens. Now, I can see it. The accusation stems from Carlson's claim that Democrats use illegal immigration to shift the American electorate in their favor. I see. In a segment last week, Carlson accused then Vice President Joe Biden of racism, citing comments by Biden in 2015 praising data showing white people could soon become a minority. Folks like me who are Caucasian of European descent for the first time in 2017 will be an absolute minority in the United States of America. Absolute minority. Fewer than 50% of the people in America from then and on will be white European stock. That's not a bad thing. That's a source of strength, Biden said. Carlson defended his claims Friday, saying they had nothing to do with anti-Semitism. The Great Replacement Theory, in fact, is not a theory, he explained. It's something that the Democrats brag about constantly. You know, it's funny because they get mad when people mention it, but they constantly talk about it. But if Carlson says it, oh, you're talking about the Great Replacement Theory. Anyway, it's something the Democrats brag about constantly, up to and including the president. And in one sentence at that, it's this: rather than convince the current population that our policies are working and they should vote for us as a result, we can't be bothered to do that. We're instead going to change the composition of the population and bring in people who will vote for us. So there isn't actually inherently a racial component to it, and it's nothing to do with anti-Semitism. So Greenblatt is consistent and partisan. The 50-year-old, often silent on left-wing anti-Semitism, like several years of anti-Jewish bigotry from Democrat Representatives Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, and the stealth edit in New York Times last weekend. After Omar recently extended her anti-Semitic attacks to Jewish Democrats who criticized her, saying they're not sufficiently fighting some struggle for justice for the oppressed, Greenblatt was finally forced to fecklessly mutter, quote, Omar needs to lead with accountability, not denial, definitely not blaming the victim. So anyway, yeah, people are saying that perhaps the ADL, which, you know, originally started as the Anti-Defamation League, maybe should go back to its roots a little bit and worry about anti-defamation. What? The girl in the hat is Jessica Biel. Is it? That's not Jessica Biel. Is it? Okay. I hate all anti-Semitism, but also hate the ADL because the ADLs, again, ADLs become a left-wing grievance grifting organization. They are no longer really serve the purpose that they sought out to seek. So this is a website here called Behind the Black. And it's not about melanated people. It's about just various things. Well, today's blacklisted American, unvaccinated student at Penn State have been banned from remote classes. Now, we saw this at another university, but they're coming for you next. This one I still am not understanding. So we saw this, I think it was the University of Rhode Island, where this happened to a student. Well, they're coming for you next. Unvaccinated students at Penn State who failed to get a stupid 19 test for 3 weeks in a row are now banned from the school, including a ban from attending remote classes. Do I need to read that again? At Penn State University, 117 students have been placed on interim suspension for failure to comply with the university's weekly Stupid 19 testing requirement. Students at University Park who are subject to required weekly Stupid 19 testing and who have missed at least 3 weeks of testing have been notified by Penn State that they are out of compliance with the university's health and safety policies and have been placed on interim suspension through the Office of Student Conduct. A statement from Penn State read, students on interim suspension may not participate in classes in person or remotely. Anybody can somebody explain that? And are not allowed on university property and may not attend any Penn State sponsored events, programs, and activities, including football games. On campus students on interim suspension are temporarily removed from their residence halls. The highlighted word proved the insanity and irrationality of this policy. It is not aimed at protecting anyone from getting sick, since if that was the true goal, the school would have no problem with unstabbed people and untested from attending classes remotely. Instead, the policy is a tool to dehumanize the student population and make them see themselves as mindless worker drones to whom powers that be can do anything and without opposition. So anyway, there's a little more to that article, but I'll skip it. This is insanity, man. Hello, James Colley. They brought me out of lurking mode. They better refund tuition money. I hope so. Cashapp, they're banned from using school facilities. Online classes also use school facility. The school is well within its right, as shitty as this may be. Sure, why not? But it's shitty. That's the point. So thank you, Cashapp. I appreciate that, though. You're right. It is within the rights, but except it's shitty. It's shitty and unscientific as all get out. So basically you have to be whatever they tell you to be to attend online classes. Yeah, interesting. All right, let's keep going. The fee should be refunded. The union is not providing the service they were paid to provide. Yeah, I guess. No, they're not. Oh boy, that just pisses me off. Though it's shitty. It's shitty is the good word for it. Moving on. Apparently, the White House told General Milley to pursue Russia's help in combating terrorism in Afghanistan after the U.S. withdrawal. Do you think the Russians... Do you think the Russians want to be in Afghanistan or help with Afghanistan any more than the United States does right now? General Mark Milley, the top military officer in the U.S., reportedly spoke with his Russian counterpart. Russian collusion? recently spoke with his Russian counterpart about an offer from the Kremlin to aid the U.S. in responding to terror threats in Afghanistan. Wait a minute. This was the Kremlin offering us. Oh, the White House told the General Milley to pursue this. Anyway, the Kremlin apparently offered the Biden administration the opportunity to let the U.S. military use Russian bases in the Middle East to respond to terror threats now that the U.S. has withdrawn its forces from Afghanistan. Okay, wait a minute. Is this... Okay, let me see. I'm trying to figure out if that's a bad thing or not. I'm not sure. Allow the U.S. They offered the Biden administration the opportunity to let the U.S. use Russian bases in the Middle East to respond to terror threats now that the U.S. has withdrawn its forces from Afghanistan, according to the Wall Street Journal. General Mark Milley, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, contacted Russian Chief of General Staff Valery Gerasimov about the offer at the request of President Joe Biden and the U.S. National Security Council. Get off my screen, Candace Owens. The previously unreported exchange comes as the Biden administration is searching for ways to strengthen its capability to monitor and respond to potential terrorist dangers in Afghanistan now that the U.S. forces have left the country, the WSJ reports, Wall Street Journal. While the U.S. and Russia share concerns about the threat of terrorism, the idea of working with Russia on counterterrorism is fraught with challenges, I'll say, particularly politically. Congress enacted legislation several years ago that precludes close cooperation between the U.S. and Russia militaries, U.S. and Russian militaries as long as Russian troops are in Ukraine, unless the Secretary of Defense issues a special waiver, the outlet continued. Okay, interesting. All right, and then they're just saying that news about the Russian meeting comes as lawmakers prepare to hear testimony from Milley as well as Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin on Tuesday over the Biden administration's rapid and chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan. So that's happening today. That'll be interesting. We have to check that out. And then they, because Milley, talked to his Chinese counterpart about not letting Trump blow up the world, which wasn't going to happen anyway. So it'll be interesting. This hearing today with Milley and Austin should have some fireworks. We'll see if Milley is more concerned about white rage than what's happening in Afghanistan. So anyway. All right. Speaking of Afghanistan, about 100 Americans are still trying to leave, officials say. The United States is aware that about 100 American citizens and legal permanent residents who remain in Afghanistan are ready to leave the country. A senior State Department official said on Monday, State Department was working to get those people on flights out of Afghanistan, said the official who briefed reporters on condition of anonymity. Our highest priority in Afghanistan, of course, remains helping those American citizens who wish to leave the country now to do so, the official said. About 124,000 people were airlifted out of Kabul after the U.S.-backed government there collapsed last month and the Taliban took control. And then the rest of the article's fluff. So interesting. We'll see how that works out. Speaking of Afghanistan, the Taliban, they get just, back to their old lovely ways. Taliban hangs bodies in public as Sharia law returns to Afghanistan. The Taliban is making good on its promise to impose the Islamic law on Afghanistan days after a senior Taliban leader vowed to bring back Sharia-mandated punishments such as stoning, amputation, and execution to the country. The Islamist terror militia has hanged the bodies of 4 men in the western city of Afghan city of Herat. The men accused of the crime of kidnapping were reportedly killed in a gun battle. Their dead bodies were hung from cranes and displayed on busy squares across the city, the BBC reported on Saturday. Earlier this week, the Taliban co-founder Mullah Nuruddin Turabi vowed to implement the Sharia law in its entirety on the newly declared Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan. No one will tell us what our laws should be. We will follow Islam. We will make our laws on the Quran, the Mullah declared. Well, honestly, it's their country. wouldn't want to live there, but it is their country to make laws and Richo. They're just giving free bungee jumping lessons. Well, they were already dead when they hung them, so is what it is. Anyway, the Taliban is making their own laws, and so there you go. But so they're hanging dead bodies in the street that were already dead. Moving on, speaking of dead bodies, the United States Senate Republicans filibuster government funding bill over debt ceiling provision with 3 days until shutdown. How? Okay, who thinks? Who here? Okay, are they okay? And I'm torn on this question anyway. Will there be a budget shutdown? Predictions? Put them in the chat. Let me come back to you here, by the way. Right now there are. We got 27 people in the stream. 20 likes. Hit the like button. Share the stream, and you can sponsor the show through Streamlabs and/or YouTube Super Chat. You are the sponsor of the Morning Night Live. Back to this here. So let's back to this article here. Senate Republicans Monday filibuster Democrats' bill to fund the government and suspend the debt ceiling days before a potential federal shutdown and possible debt default. Republicans vowed for weeks to oppose the debt ceiling increase and urged Democrats to put the provision in their filibuster-approved $3.5 trillion reconciliation bill. But Democrats have thus far refused to do so. And with their bill's failure Monday, Congress has now just 3 days to pass a new funding bill to avoid a government shutdown set to begin Friday at midnight. Now, me personally, I wouldn't care if they said, you know what, let's just shut down the entire government for a year, the federal government, that is, except for essential services. Because basically when they say government shutdown and then they make these threats that Social Security checks won't go out. No, the entitlement money won't go out. That is false. That is false. Checks still go out. They still pay the people who are supposed to be getting checks. Although I think they tried not to do that once, but I think that would have been terrible. I personally think that they're going to end up passing this. What was my question again? Hang on. What was my question? Will there be a budget shutdown? Oh, you all think that will be. Interesting. Well, keep voting in the poll if you think there's going to be a budget shutdown. I kind of think not. I don't think they're going to, at least the debt ceiling part, I think they're going to find a way at the last second to pass that. But who knows? I could be wrong. Anyway, but Democrats have thus far refused. Okay. Speaking on the Senate floor, ahead of the 48-50 vote, Majority Leader Chuck Schumer lambasted Republicans. Wait a minute. 48 to 50 vote. There's 2 people missing. Majority Leader Chuck Schumer lambasted Republicans and alleged that they were throwing the country toward unnecessarily avoidable disaster. Schumer changed his vote to no at the last second, allowing him to bring the funding bill back up at a later date. If Republicans follow through with their plans to vote no, they will be on record to deliberately sabotaging our country's ability to pay the bills and likely causing the first ever default in American history. He said, by blocking an extension of the debt limit, Republicans will solidify themselves for a long time as the party of default. Well, they're not in charge, though. This is Biden's America. Remember? It's Biden's America. Biden's America. It's Biden's America. You know the thing.
You know the thing.
Anyway, we will support a clean and continuing resolution that will prevent our government shutdown, get disaster relief to Louisiana, help properly vetted Afghan refugees who put themselves on the line for America, and support the Iron Dome assistance for our ally Israel, McConnell said. We will not provide Republican votes for raising the debt limit. That's interesting. They will do it anyway. Republican objections stem from the Democrats' budget itself. If they have the power to and are planning on pushing it through Congress without GOP input, they argued, then they should be responsible for raising the limit on their own. Most estimates say it must be raised before mid to late October in order to avoid a default. Bipartisanship is not a light switch that Democrats can flip on when they need more to borrow more money and switch off when they want to spend money. McConnell added, the debt suspension that expired in August covered all the debt that had been accumulated to that point. This is an argument about the future. Anyway, I have no faith in anybody in Washington anymore. So fuck it. All right. So here's the New York Post requisite editorial of the day. Democrats' massive spending plans will blow up U.S. budget for generations. Yes, it will. It's going to cost nothing. It's going to cost nothing, President Biden said.
You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier.
Of the Democrats' massive $3.5 trillion with a T spending binge, which House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is scrambling to pass this week. Don't believe it. The bill, which aims to move America closer to a European-style social welfare state, will shorten the fuse on a debt bomb that's already set to detonate. Last year, lawmakers enacted $3 trillion in mostly justified deficit spending for a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic. Yet the 2021 spending blowout is set to dwarf those costs. Lawmakers have already enacted a $1.9 trillion stimulus bill filled with unnecessary items like unemployment benefits that exceed the wages for many available jobs, and bailouts to states already running budget surpluses. The Senate has passed a $550 billion infrastructure bill that is financed mostly with gimmicks. Biden's 8.4% discretionary spending increase would permanently raise the baseline by $1 trillion over the decade. And now Democrats are trying to pass a $3.5 trillion with a T reconciliation bill that would raise deficits by as much as $1.75 trillion. Even those figures understate the bill's true cost by at least $1 trillion by pretending that policies like the expanded child tax credit will expire within a few years, even though Democrats' policy is to make them permanent. Add it all up, and congressional Democrats are set to commit $8 trillion in new spending over the decade, of which $6 trillion would be borrowed. That's quadruple the net cost of the 2017 tax cuts. It would be enough money to eliminate the employee side of the payroll tax or deposit $60,000 into each family's bank account. Instead, it will be spent on a grab bag of long-standing liberal policies. So they're trying to push through their wish list from many years. All this debt has a permanent cost. If interest rates ever nudge back up past 3% this year's $6 trillion borrowing spree will cost $180 billion in additional interest costs every year forever. That's $180 billion annually that could otherwise provide tax relief, assist veterans. Okay, this is demagoguery too, though, because they'll never use it for anything but passing more bullshit. But anyway, it could be used to provide tax relief, assist veterans, or improve infrastructure. Instead, it will pay interest to bondholders. What a waste of tax dollars. Okay, I get. Never mind. I know what that meant now. Yeah, that's. Anyway, this is the debt bomb. This is the New York Post. The cover from I don't know what date it is. But anyway, if you want to read more about that, it's in the New York Post. And finally, this is what I'm going to finish with today. Everyone's favorite auntie, Nancy Pelosi, has broken her word to moderates to appease the far left again. So, you know, it's funny because the squad types were supposed to be they're just on the fringe and they don't have that much power. Well, Another win for the far left. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi broke her promise to allow a vote Monday on the $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill, and her stated reasons don't add up. Pelosi claims she must delay because she doesn't have the votes to pass. Really, it's hard to believe the bipartisan bill couldn't get enough Republican support to make up for lefty deflections. Far more likely, she's holding it hostage as she strives to save the $3.5 trillion spendapalooza that won't win a single GOP vote because it's poison for the U.S. economy. Pelosi last month promised a September 27th vote on the bipartisan bill to get her party moderates to start the reconciliation process. That's the only hope for the gargantuan human infrastructure bill. She repeated the promise on Friday, not only to renege Sunday with a new vow to have the vote on Thursday. Progressives have been loudly threatening to vote against the bipartisan bill if it comes to the floor before the one they really want, with its vast expansion of social justice outlays and other Green New Deal items. But again, they probably lack the votes to actually torpedo the real infrastructure bill. It sailed through the Senate last month with plenty of Republican support on a 69-30 vote. Pelosi just doesn't want to let moderate Republicans claim they were the key to passage. Well, they ended up, okay, so let me just stop here because they ended up also somehow passing the $3.5 trillion monstrosity, and that's why we have this other article about how their massive spending plans blow up the U.S. budget. So anyway. All right, gang. I'm trying to be out of here at a exacting hour, so I'm going to close it up for today. But I want to thank you for being. Oh, like last year, like I said earlier, that methane tax will be a negative impact to all Americans. Oh, there's a bunch of stuff in there that's going to be a terrible impact. $8 trillion. We should be able to colonize Mars. No, they're going to leave that up to Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and all those eggheads. Let's see, $8 trillion and some sharks with freaking laser beams on their heads. Yeah, isn't that the truth? So as you can see, I'm just going into the chat here. Thank you, Baby Vaso, for sponsoring the show one more time. Who says, with a bullet, Republicans are the parent that checks their banking account, maybe spends a bit more than he has, but tries to make sure he doesn't overspend. Democrats are the parent who lives like a rock star, taking out multiple credit cards and pretending he's Jay-Z. Well, there you go. Although, I thank you by the way, Baby Vaso, for continuing to sponsor the show, and you are still the Streamlabs Superstar Donor today. I think they're both shit right now. Look. If I were king, I wouldn't change our political structure necessarily, but I would say that every election year, if I could make up a new amendment to the Constitution, every election year, just that year. So, for example, let's say the first year of the term of every president. First year of the term of every president, the United States Senate, the United States House of Representatives, would be required to repeal 2 laws for every new law that they pass. And it can't just be honorarium resolutions, like a resolution to celebrate National Turtle Shell Soup Day. Okay? No. They would have to remove 2 legislative items for every one they pass. And it would have to be something substantive, or at least stupid laws in the books. Or better yet, let's say they couldn't pass any budget bills that first year. They had to wait until the second year of the term. Now, would that help anything? I don't know. But God, sometimes I just wish they would all shut the fuck up and stop passing more debt onto all of us. Because it's not their money. It's our money. And sometimes I just wish they would let us live our lives and get the hell out of it. But on that note, I am actually going to call it a day. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. As you know, I'm here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 1500 GMT, until that daylight savings time thing happens next month. Also, a reminder, hit the like button if you haven't done so already on the way out. And share the stream anytime, 24 hours a day. You can still share it. Find my social media, retweet or repost what I posted on the notification. And if you're watching on replay, please leave a comment in the comment section so that I know you were here. And finally, if you want to sponsor the Morning Night Live in more substantial ways, such as Baby Vazo did today, thank you very much for being the superstar donor of the day. You can do that 24 hours a day through Streamlabs and a couple other options down below, or during the show with Streamlabs and YouTube Super Chats, and I will read the messages, whether you do them at midnight against when I'm not broadcasting or whether you do it during the show. So, again, thank you once again. It's time for me to go. My name is PDawgKnight, and I am out of here. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.